going on my file folders? Hmm. Testing. There we go. Testing, testing. It's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go. Let's see here. Do. All right. You're heard. You're seen. All right. Well, folks, welcome to the pre-show. Before we get started here, a nice time. Went to the state fair yesterday and saw Gabriel Iglesias, aka Fluffy. Yeah, we had a nice time. We had hours at the fair. My hips still hurt. So let's start recording here. You can let yourself out. The door's open. No. Stay on the pillow. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tonight. Hold on. Tonight, Star Trek Day news, Marvel and Star Wars news from D23, and an interview with voice artist David Kaye. All that and more on this episode of Multiverse Tonight. Uh-oh. Hold on here. We got misfire. We got a broken plane, so to speak.
Did he mess you up?
No.
What happened? Having an issue? With the sound?
No, screen broke.
Oh. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Live TV, folks. All right. Let's try this again. That. My script up. All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tonight, Star Wars Day news, Marvel and Star Wars news from D23, and an interview with voice artist David Kaye. All that and more on this episode of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Multiverse Tonight, number 172. And it's been quite a couple of weeks for me. We've had some big changes around here. I won't really go into that. But we've, yesterday, we went to the Kansas State Fair up in Hutchinson, Kansas, and spent a few hours at the fair because that evening they had Gabriel Iglesias, aka Fluffy, there. Let me show you, for those watching on the live stream and on YouTube, some pictures here. And we had Gabriel Iglesias, and they had a couple of opening acts. It was Martine. Yeah, he really does exist, folks. And that was great fun. Also, there's a dust cloud from the parking lot. That's how dry it is out here in Kansas, by the way. I mean, my car is covered in dust. So we're going to have to go out. There was also a chainsaw artist who was making some sculptures. That was from cedar. There was, of course, domestic arts. There's quilts there. I like that cow quilt. And a lot of other stuff, the obligatory butter sculpture, which really wasn't much this year. It was just a cow and some sunflowers. They really didn't put much into the work on the butter sculpture this year. Maybe the recession or the price rise of prices. I don't know. Also bunnies, and there's plenty more. I'll put these out online. Of course, they're on my personal Facebook page, and I'll put them out other places too. But yeah, I am pretty darn sore today. But other than that, we have a fully packed episode. We have, of course, interviews. An interview with voice artist David Kaye from Last Week Tonight. He's done Transformers. He's done Ratchet and Clank. He's done all manner of things. It was a really fun interview. So we're looking forward to that. But let's get into some regular old Marvel news. And these will be short because most of the news was Star Trek Day and D23, which I've just basically combined all the Marvel and Star Trek stuff together. Kind of like a big old tuna roll of news. But there was a little side news. First off, Marvel from Deadline.com, which reports that Regan Alea has joined the cast of Marvel Studios' Disney Plus series Ironheart in an undisclosed role. Alea is an actor and rapper who will next appear in Netflix's XO Kitty, a spin-off to All the Boys I Loved Before, as a series regular. Before that, she appeared in the TV miniseries Club Mickey Mouse, as well as various shorts. The 6-episode series, created by Shaneka Hodge, will star Demeek Thorne as Marvel character Riri Williams, a genius inventor and creator of the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. The previously announced cast includes Anthony Ramos, Manny Montana, Alden and Einreich, Shea Cole, and Zoe Tarkas. Ben Kingsley is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Oscar winner will be reprising his role as Trevor Slattery, this time in Marvel's Wonder Man project from Disney+. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed this news. Now let's go on to the DC Comics news. Blue Beetle is still coming out from Warner Brothers as of press time, and Susan Sarandon, who will be the villain of the movie, will appear on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, revealed that the film will be partially in Spanish with subtitles. Susan told Jimmy, quote, "What's fabulous about it is that it's the first Latinx hero that has his own movie. Even better, all of the Mexicans, because his family's Mexican, all the actors were Mexican-American, and it's in Spanish, so there's subtitles," unquote. Now, she went on to discuss her being the villain of the movie, saying, quote, "I'm of course the bad guy. I'm the white military-industrial complex, so I have a fabulous time because there's nothing better than being bad," unquote. Titus Welliver, the Bosch and Deadwood star, who has also appeared on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Castlevania, has been cast in the role of Lex Luthor on Titans. The actor, according to the Entertainment Weekly story, is a big DC fan who's been waiting for a call like this for years. Now, this is a good time for him to play the role, considering that the series' upcoming 4th season will deal with the revelation that Superboy was cloned from Luthor's DNA, a twist introduced in the comics by Jeff Johns. Now let's go on to that Star Trek Day news. And we begin Star Trek Day news with Strange New Worlds, which will be a new reoccurring character, Engineer Pelia, who will be played by legendary actress Carol Kane. Pelia is described as highly educated and intelligent, and this engineer suffers no fools. Pelia solves problems calmly and brusquely, thanks to her many years of experience. Unquote. Now, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 is currently in production. And if you don't know who Carol Kane is, look up The Princess Bride and a ton of other good shows. She was on Taxi. I mean, she is a marvel. She's 70 years old. So this will be a treat. Star Trek Picard will take us to the underworld of the 25th century. The trailer for the new season revealed that a set of mysterious antagonists are threatening Beverly Crusher, with Picard now operating on his own. Finding a way to investigate or fight against such a threat will take Picard and company to some dark regions of the galaxy. Now, we also get a good look at Commander 7 of 9 on the USS Titan. Star Trek Picard Season 3 will premiere on Thursday, February 16th, 2023. It's a couple days after my birthday. If you need something to listen to, Star Trek film writer/director Nicholas Meyer surprised fans by announcing Star Trek Con, SETI Alpha 5, the first scripted Star Trek podcast. The long-rumored story will reveal what happened to Khan and his augmented crew after Captain Kirk left them on SETI Alpha 5 in the classic Star Trek episode Space Seed in the years leading up to the Meyer-directed movie Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Meyer, of course, wrote the original story for Star Trek Con, SETI Alpha 5, and he'll be executive producer on the project along with Alex Kurtzman, Aaron Byers, Trevor Roth, and Rod Roddenberry. Star Trek Prodigy will finish out its first season starting on October 27th. A new clip from the show showed the Prodigy being joined by TNG's Thaddeus Okuna from the episode The Outrageous Okuna, trying to outrun Admiral Janeway. Unfortunately, if Janeway catches the ship, the Trojan horse situation will happen. A synopsis for Discovery Season 5 has been released. Quote, Captain Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery discover a mystery that sends them on an epic adventure across the galaxy to find an ancient power whose very existence has been deliberately hidden for centuries. But there are others on the hunt as well. Dangerous foes who are desperate to claim the prize for themselves and will stop at nothing to get it. Unquote. The show is currently in production. Yeah, I'm probably not going to watch it. I'm afraid that the solution will, of course, be Michael Burnham, as in previous seasons. So, watch it if you like. I'm all for you watching it. But I think, personally, Star Trek Discovery, I'll just skip from now on. Gearbox's Cryptic Studios unveiled their big bad for the next installment of Star Trek Online. Will Wheaton's Emperor Wesley Crusher will debut when the next installment lands on the 13th of this month, tomorrow, as we record this. That's a very interesting development. Emperor Wesley Crusher. We'll have to see how this is played. Also, a new Star Trek comic from IDW is coming. This one is just titled Star Trek. Star Trek #1 represents the first step in IDW's attempt to give its Star Trek line the same prestige enjoyed by something like Marvel Comics' Star Wars books. That includes treating the book as canon. Writer Jackson Lansing said, quote, "This is real Star Trek. This is as close as we can on the comic side to being canon. We will be canon until they uncanonize us. But we are working with the shows. We're in communication with the teams. We are encyclopedic Star Trek knowledge boys, so we're on memory alpha all the time, but our brains are effectively little memory alphas. We're already fed by all the canon that we grew up with, that being TOS to Voyager, so all that stuff, if it was on the show, it's canon," unquote. Star Trek #1 begins a story that will be set during the gap between Star Trek Voyager's series finale and the film Star Trek Nemesis. It will feature an eclectic mix of new characters and established favorites from across the Star Trek franchise, taking advantage of the fact that a comic book only needs to worry about characters, not actors. Benjamin Sisko leads the book's cast as the captain of the USS Theseus. He and his crew are on a mission to investigate the deaths of several of the godlike beings that inhabit the Star Trek universe. Star Trek #1 goes on sale on October 26th. Now, this next one is going to be pricey. Nerf unveiled 2 Star Trek Nerf phaser blasters that were designed to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Star Trek Next Generation TV show. There is the Nerf LMTD Star Trek Starfleet Type 3 phaser rifle, which is a motorized one-shot blaster with internal 5-dart clip that features light-up effects that simulate the look of being assimilated by the Borg in homage to the 1996 film Star Trek First Contact. It also features phaser sounds and authentic First Contact movie sounds. 7 foam Nerf Elite darts are also included, and if that wasn't enough, you also get, as your secondary blaster, a Starfleet Type 2 phaser, which fires 1 dart and has pullback priming handle. Amazingly enough, it's not sold separately. The Type 2 phaser will be included with the Type 3 phaser rifle, and the set will be available to pre-order on Amazon at the low price of $119.99. It'll be out on September. It should be out soon. Now, and they didn't give a specific launch date, but I've already got co-workers who are pre-ordering it. I pre-ordered it, but where would I have the place to put this, nay the will to play with it? So while it's cool, and while if I was a millionaire, I'd buy it. I think I'll pass on this. I think pictures are good enough for me. And let's go on to a little Star Wars news that wasn't related to D23. Deadline reports that Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae has landed the male lead in the Disney Plus Star Wars series The Acolyte at Lucasfilm. Amandla Steinberg is set for the other lead role, with Deadline also recently breaking the news that Jodie Turner-Smith also has been cast. Leslie Headland has been tapped as the series director, writer, executive producer, and showrunner. The Acolyte, set before the Fall of the Jedi era on the Star Wars official timeline, takes place roughly 100 years before the events of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, a time when the Sith are believed extinct for a millennium. Unquote. Now let's get on to some D23 news. So sit back, relax your shoulders, grab a drink. Good idea. Shall we? Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, is getting a new Galactic Edition released this November. But the more important news is an addition of 30 newly playable Star Wars characters, including Cassian Andor from Rogue One and the new series, Reva from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Captain Rex from the Star Wars The Clone Wars. Those 3 characters are just some of the new additions, coming in 6 new packs in the Character Collection 2. The new collection will also feature characters from Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Book of Boba Fett, as well as the Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation TV special. The Marvel Universe is getting its own augmented reality game. Marvel World of Heroes was announced on Friday during Disney's Games Showcase at its D23 2022 Expo. The mobile game is being developed by Niantic, the company behind Pokemon Go, and is set for release sometime in 2023. Now, also is Black Panther and Captain America, who are teaming up for a new video game adventure set in the Marvel Universe version of World War II. On Friday, Marvel Games and Skydance New Media, a relatively new studio led by former Night Dog creative director Amy Hennig, revealed a new Untitled game in which the superhero duo takes on the evil forces of Hydra. Joining them will be 2 additional heroes, Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier and member of the Howling Commandos, and Nanali, leader of the fledgling Wakandan spy network, and what appears to be a precursor of the Dora Milaje. Those four heroes were featured in the teaser trailer for Black Panther and Captain America game, which appears to be set in Paris and possibly Wakanda. Disney's Tron universe is returning to video games in 2023 with Tron Identity, a visual novel puzzle game being developed by Mike Bethel from Thomas Was Alone and the Saltair Conspiracy. Now, in Tron Identity, players will follow Query, a detective program keeping the peace on an all-new grid. Query has been tasked with unraveling a complicated break-in and theft, and according to its Steam page, quote, it'll interact with a number of intriguing characters and decide whether to ally with them, spurn them, or even de-res them, unquote. Players will advance Tron Identity's story by defragmenting other programs' identity disks. Quote, the truth of the case is hidden in the identity disk of those around you. Defrag their disks to navigate the complex path to a solution in this unique puzzle. And, that sounds interesting. I wasn't a big fan of the second Tron film. It was okay, but, I'm marginally interested. Some more news. Secret Invasion news. War Machine actor Don Cheadle has confirmed that he will appear in Samuel L. Jackson's upcoming Disney Plus series, Secret Invasion. He will also give a brief overview of the plot of the show. He also gave a brief overview of the plot of the show, saying it involves, quote, Skrulls invading Earth. And we got the Marvels news as well. Brie Larson's The Marvels was quickly shown during an MCU sizzle reel. Director Neil DaCosta asserts that the MCU sequel will be, quote, full of comic book madness, and that it will follow how these three people learn to become a team, unquote. Now, it looks like something is causing the three heroes, Carol, Kamala, and Monica, to switch places whenever they use their powers, as seen at the end of Captain Marvel. Ms. Marvel, excuse me. The Marvels is set to be released in theaters on July 28th, 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp news. Janet Van Dyne actress Michelle Pfeiffer teased that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania gets a little darker while describing it as epic in that same MCU sizzle reel. We also got news of Daredevil Born Again. The first official look at the logo for Charlie Cox's return to the MCU in Daredevil Born Again was shown briefly. Also, the Captain America New World Order got a very warm welcome at D23, with several new and old MCU actors officially announced to return to the fold. Tim Blake Nelson, who last appeared in 2008's Incredible Hulk, will be returning as the leader. Carl Lumbly will be back as original super soldier Isaiah Bradley after playing him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Danny Ramirez returns as Joaquin Torres, while MCU newcomer Shira Haas will be playing Israeli hero Sabra. The movie has a release date of May 3rd, 2024. Now, multiple pieces of concept art images from Disney's Indiana Jones 5 were shown off for the first time. Now, this is the first official look at Harrison Jones at the fifth indie film. The concept art include images of the movie's many costumes, scenes, and characters. We also got news from Ahsoka. Emin Esfandi has been cast as Ezra Bridger in the upcoming Ahsoka series on Disney+. Esfandi is known for his role in King Richard, and he stars in the upcoming film titled The Inspiration. Midnight Suns news. Marvel's upcoming turn-based strategy game, Midnight Suns, received an official release date on December 2nd, 2022. This release is sooner than expected, as Marvel Suns was initially set to be released next year. So a little good news. We also got some Disney Pixar news as well. Inside Out 2. Now, Tom's Guide is reporting that Disney's official social media accounts postponed the graphic for Inside Out 2 with the description, "Oh joy, Amy Poehler is back to star in Inside Out 2." Directed by Kelsey Mann, produced by Mark Nielsen, and written by Meg LaFleur. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2 releases summer 2024. Now, some have have been noticing that neither Mindy Kaling nor Bill Hader has been announced has been announced as cast. So keep an eye out for those developments. Now, according to those same reports, it's all about money. Amy Poehler is reportedly making $5 million before other bonuses, and got a much better offer than her co-stars from the original. Disney's initial $100,000 with no bonuses offer to the other main voice cast was declined. Yeah, I'd say if you're paying her $5 million, pay them each $1 million at least. Yeah, be fair, Disney. Marvel's bad guys and anti-heroes are getting a close-up in Thunderbolts. The Super Team movie will star Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Sebastian Stan, of course, the Winter Soldier, David Harbour, Red Guardian, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Largra de Fontaine. TV vet Jake Shire is directing the film. Thunderbolts is due out July 26th, 2024. The Echo Show will see the return of Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. Matt Shakman from WandaVision has been confirmed to direct Fantastic Four. Loki Season 2 has revealed that some new cast members will be joining Owen Wilson's Morbius, as well as Gugu Mathaba-Raz, Judge Renslayer, Sophia de Martinez Sylvia, and Wonmi Shoku's Ben 15 will be joined by Ki Hai Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Win or Lose is a brand new Pixar series coming to Disney Plus in 2023, starring Will Forte as Coach Dan. It's all about a softball team called the Pickles who are trying to get to the championship game. Each episode of Win or Lose will focus on a specific character, such as Frank the umpire, a middle school teacher who's trying to date again. He thinks his barista is into him, but she's not. His friends, though, are there to support him. Well, that sounds special. The live-action Snow White, starring Rachel Zegler as the first Disney princess and Gal Gadot as the wicked stepmother, was announced at D23 with the stars on hand. It'll be out in 2024, and it sounds like a theatrical release, but Disney didn't confirm it at the time. D23 also gave live audiences a first look at Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy movie, which will be coming to the streamer in 2023. In it, Jude Law will play Captain Hook, and the trailer sees him chasing Alexander Maloney's Peter Pan around. Featuring now a new movie called Elio is set to come out in 2024. For the minds that brought you Coco, Disney, and Pixar are delivering Elio. Elio is an 11-year-old boy who has warped across the galaxy accidentally and is soon seen as the ambassador for planet Earth, which he obviously is not. Elio will be voiced by Giannis Kareb from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and America Ferrera, Ugly Betty, voices his mother. Elio is directed by screenwriter Adrian Molina and produced by Mary Ellis Drum, and will be in theaters in spring of 2024. Disney's upcoming film Wish will explain how this Disney tradition started, because yes, even wishing stars get their own origin stories. The film features the voice of Ariana DeBoy as Asha, who appears to be the first person ever to wish upon said star. She also has an adorable pet goat. Wish comes to theaters in November 2023. Mufasa, the Lion King, Walt Disney's computer-generated live-action sequel to The Lion King, also had a panel at D23. The film, which is expected to debut in theaters in 2024, will reportedly be told in two different time frames, as Timon, Pumbaa, and Rafiki tell the origin story of Mufasa, while we see Mufasa's rise to royalty. But while fans are excited for the film, which is more of a prequel than a true sequel, there is one bit of news that is a bit disappointing. James Earl Jones, who of course provided the voice of Mufasa in the classic animated Lion King, will not be returning for this film. Instead, the role of Mufasa will be played by Aaron Pierre. Now, let's go to that very special interview with David Kaye. Well, everyone, it's time for our interview. Man, we've had a lot of interviews lately, and this one is probably one of my biggest interviews yet. Uh, he's known for dozens and dozens of voices you've heard, everything from Cringer slash Balcat on He-Man: The Masters of the Universe, Megatron on Transformers: Beast Wars, woo, to Clank in the Ratchet and Clank games, and hundreds of other voice roles going back to the late 80s. Currently, he can be heard 30 weeks out of the year doing the voiceovers on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. But today, he's been nice to come to our little corner of the multiverse. Welcome, David Kaye.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah. How are you?
I
Got
am
all my.
great.
I got some of my toys here. This is
This is
still. We moved out to Ventura County a year ago, and I had a beautiful studio all separate. And right now it's a temporary. It's actually it's working really well. It's in the house, but I
oh,
want to build. I want to build
let's go.
something separate to have all my stuff. So I haven't got all my toys and things out. I have some, maybe a
Yeah,
few things. I have
yeah.
Ratchet and Clank. So I have things there.
This is
But
what you
yeah.
see behind me. This is my new office. I
Oh, very
just
cool.
yeah, I just put this together a couple of weeks ago. I'm still adding autographs to this wall behind me.
Oh, there's Rob Paulson. Oh, Rob Paulson, there he is. No, there's Mo. Oh, there's everybody. I know them all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
sure.
Jess over my shoulder
Yeah,
here.
just I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of them in person for quite a while.
Oh yeah, it's I got their autographs a couple of years ago at Comic Con
Yeah,
here
cool.
in Kansas City. It was a great time.
Never been to Kansas City.
Oh, you should come.
Yeah, I would like to come. Yeah, just yeah, I would. I would be. I've never been. The Kansas City barbecue and
Hmm.
all this. I'm hearing all about it. I have friends that are from there and live there and have been there, but I've never been. I'm going to Nashville this weekend. I've never been to Nashville either.
Cool.
Hmm.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's going to the can to Plant Comic Con is like my vacation for the year. It's
Those are right.
one
Yes.
big trip. I save up money for a nice extended stay hotel. You know,
Yeah. Cool.
it's my favorite thing to do. Anyway,
Awesome.
start questions here. How did you get into voice acting?
Um, the older I get, the less I remember about how did that happen again. Uh, but it was it was essentially I started at 16, 17 years old on radio, and somehow in my hometown up there in Canada where I was born, they gave me a job, um, and I don't really know how it happened. I think it sort of I was really interested in. I used to listen to radio all
Mhm.
over. I used to listen to WBZ in Boston and WGN Chicago. I used to pick them up on my little radio. And I always liked the voice. I was a big fan of voices in movies and famous monsters of Filmland magazine, DC Comics, and Marvel, and all that stuff when I was a kid. And I love the idea of I don't know I really anyway. I was working at a YMCA pro shop in my hometown. I was selling one of my first part time jobs selling squash rackets and tennis rackets
Mhm.
and various gear. And the morning man from the local radio station used to come in all the time. I got to know him a little bit. He knew my dad, and I used to, I would sell him stuff, and I think I bugged him enough, and he invited me to come down to the radio station and meet our Rick Johnson, and Rick. Brought me in, and he sat me and I down in front of and I did I don't know, I read like some copy or something. I have no idea. And then somehow I landed a job doing overnights on weekends. I had to train a little bit, but they somehow seemed to think that I would would
Mhm.
be good to put on the air. I mean, I was horrible, but they gave me a chance, and I think it started there in my hometown, and it wasn't until many years later when I was living in Vancouver, Canada,
Mhm.
and I was doing the morning show or middays or something. I can't. I was in radio, and I was kind of bored the rest of the time, and I saw this commercial modeling course, and learn acting, and I thought, well, that's kind of. I mean, maybe I'll do that, and I called a number and took this class, and the modeling part was really goofy for me. It was like kind of a waste of my time. But the other part was the commercial part where I learned how to read lines, learn lines, and deliver dialogue for commercials and stuff like that. And my agent, my first agent was I was teaching the course. It was his first, his first agency. He was first time being an agent. And he said, "How would you like an agent?" And I said, "Sure." I had no idea what that was, and it was somewhere a matter of months after that. He said, "Do you do voices?" And because I was on the radio, I thought I
Mhm.
did. I don't know. I said, "Yeah, sure." And I had an audition for GI Joe,
Ah.
the Great American Hero, and for General Hawk and a bunch of other characters, and I ended up booking it, and that was made it all. And it basically, that's kind of in a nutshell. But once
Mhm.
I was in a room with people in doing a cartoon, I thought, well, I just want to do this the rest of my life. How do I do this the rest of my life? So that became the goal. It was '89. I was
Ah.
cast in that cartoon, and then we emigrated to the U.S. officially in '07, '08, I guess it was. You know,
Mhm.
and then that's basically kind of where it started. So it kind of came from radio, much like James Arnold Taylor, you know,
Mhm.
who's right there. Yeah. A lot of us have come from, Peter Cullen. We've come from radio because we were
Mhm.
very comfortable in front of this thing, and that's sort of how it started. So, did I
Like,
answer your question? I'm not sure if I did or not.
oh yeah,
I
that
talked in circles.
answered answered fine. Now,
Good.
was there any other voice artists that really inspired you? Because I
Yeah,
know Nancy Cartwright was inspired by Dawes Butler. I've been
yeah,
listening to her autobiography.
yeah. So I had no idea who Dawes Butler was when I was young. I hadn't had a clue. I watched cartoons.
Yeah.
Who I'm without really realizing it. Mel Blanc inspired me, and
Mhm.
I was always a big fan of movie trailers for some reason. And to me, my mentor, and I was inspired by Donna Fontaine. I said, I want to get that good and be that successful and be that. I want to. How do I get to that point? So that became. I had radio heroes, Rick Dees, who's since become a friend. He used to do a radio back in the day at Kiss FM in Los Angeles, and other people. I had a friend who did voiceover. I didn't know him at the time in Vancouver when I used to live there. Jim Conrad. Kono was a big voice guy and still does a tremendous amount of stuff. And he inspired me to. I want to do what that guy does. How do I do that? You know. That's so there are a few people that inspired me, but nobody real. Well, some of them famous, but I
Mhm.
I just wondered how the hell you. I was inspired by the phone person. When you
Yeah.
phone and you get a wrong number, we're sorry. Then I might go, how do you get that gig? I mean,
Yeah.
I was inspired by all kinds of strange things. So that yeah.
All right. So let's stay a little bit on the topic of voice acting.
Mhm.
What's your favorite way to warm up your voice?
um, um, I don't really. Do I have one?
Oh.
I don't really have one. Let me see. Where my voice? Have a good sleep. That's a big deal. I know
Ah.
there's certain times, early on in the pandemic where I just wasn't sleeping because we're all freaked out. And my voice was I was tired in the morning. I didn't have the resonance, and I was too stressed out, and everything all up here gets all like tight.
Mhm.
When your muscles get tight and stress. So I drink a ton of water. I'm usually 3 or 4. I'm usually a half a gallon in before like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And seriously, that's really great for keeping
Mhm.
things. And I like the earlier in the morning the better because there's more resonance when it gets later in the day because I'm doing all kinds of different stuff throughout the day. It could be anything from trailers to commercials to into radio and television IDs to kind of concert stuff, animation sessions. So by the end of the day, if I've had a busy day, the voice is kind of it's kind of like in you're losing the resonance, just tired. So
Mhm.
I'll go and my ear, nose, and throat doctor. I told him, well, the best thing if I go lay down for 20 minutes and relax or have like a nap. He goes, perfect. He said, if you feel that way, go sleep for half an hour. I go, really? He goes, yep, because it relaxes everything.
Mhm.
So for warm
Nice.
ups, yeah, you know,
Okay.
um, I just
Oh,
make sure it's. I don't know.
all right.
I don't know much.
Well, that's
I don't
fine.
know how the
When
hell did I get
now,
here.
how did any of us get here?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, So when you've been picked to do a new character's voice, how long does it take you to usually find that voice?
Um, it depends. Sometimes I just open my mouth and start because there's a description of the character, and you look at it, and if he's big, if he's older, if they want us, 72-year-old, and if he's in his 80s, or if he's in his 90s, maybe he's like, you just try and play, depending on the description of the character. That's where you go in, um, and depending on maybe they'll have a rendering of the character, and he's either large, he's small, he's thin. So you'll have, oh look, there's somebody calling me. I can't. Sorry, can't talk right now. And so it's based on the description of the character. You start sort of coming up with stuff. In the, with this guy here, those years ago, I was young in my career and didn't know
Mhm.
quite too much. I didn't even realize there was a Transformer series. I watched Bugs Bunny and Tex
Mhm.
Avery and weird cartoons, um, and read a lot of comics. I didn't know about the Transformers. So it wasn't until I had this audition that I realized there was another one, because they tell you this is it's the Transformers universe and blah blah blah. But these are new characters. They're based on dinosaurs and things. And I sort of took a look at the character and read the description, and literally went, geez, I don't know. And I kind of had this idea: Sean Connery, Anthony Hopkins,
Mhm.
and a lizard. How would they would sound together? And it was, it seemed to be written quite Shakespearean, the stuff. And so I, started playing in here. Yes, excellent. To be or not to be, that is the question. And it's just there was a bit of a lisp in there for the lizard, and a hand gestures. And I sort of came up with this character, and they called me back and booked me on the show. So, and other times I can spend hours. I'll come in, I'll look at something, look at, yeah, it's no good. And I'll go away for a while and come back, and I'll try, and then when I think, okay, I've nailed this, I've nailed it, and you don't hear anything, and you don't get hired. Um, so it really depends. It's just kind of throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks, essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
And so someone who wants to be a voice actor, what would you tell them to do?
Don't do it. Don't jump off. Um, well, look, it's the most fun you can have ever. I mean, it's. I look forward to Mondays, and it's crazy, really. They actually they hire me. Sometimes I wonder if they'll actually hire me again, or ever hire me. Um, but it's, I don't know. It's a combination. There's no real roadmap. There's no real
Mhm.
secret. There's no real. I can say, well, you do this, 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 and this, and you become a voice actor. And Rob Paulson will tell you the same thing. It really is. If it's something you really want to do in life, then you will figure out a way to do it. I mean, it used to be you had to go to L.A. or New York, and sometimes that's true, because everybody's sort of here. I have since moved out of the city and further north, but um, you can with TikTok and
Mhm.
YouTube and online, you can create your own content now, and start throwing stuff out there. And I suck at social media. I actually hate it,
Mhm.
to tell you the truth. But for those of you who are good at it, and you can make get a lot of followers and create your own content and do voices. The thing is, if there's a lot of things that you need to do. I feel to develop the skills, and that's improv. Um, to know how to act, to know how to and it's basically to inhabit some other being, and that being has to have a heart, a soul, and it has to live and breathe and be real, and it has to have a heart, like I said, and a soul. It's a no matter if it's Clank, he must come from a place of truth. So all that stuff is learned sort of, finding out who you are, taking improv classes, and acting and studying, and there is some work involved. It's not just you don't become a voice actor. There's a lot of things, and I'm still learning stuff every day.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so if that makes sense, it's read a ton, have a point of reference. Travel as much as you can, because when you have these characters and they're giving you all this information, if you have limited points of reference, you're not going to be able to, induce the nuance needed to bring this character to life. It's just there was a great thing that somebody posted, Bob Odenkirk, about acting. He said, "Be good at your life first."
Mm-hmm.
you know, do that well, and because it really sort of what's the word I'm looking for? It helps you develop a truthful character because you've experienced this,
Yeah,
much. If that makes some sense.
sure. All right. Well, so what is your favorite character role?
Um, I mean, every actor will tell you, all of them are, because they hired me. I mean, there's tons. They actually all are. I can't pick a favorite. I mean, look, the Megatron character from Beast Wars and Transformers, that kind of went that opened the world to me. That went, oh, this is popular. And I was, if I had to pick, it would be Megatron from Beast Wars, only because it really opened the door and opened my eyes to the possibility of this could be a career. Um, and and damn it, it has been. It's been so I can, I have to thank this young fellow for introducing me to that. I mean, GI Joe to some extent, Exo Squad to some extent, but that's the one that went, wow, this is a big deal. So yeah. Did you disappear? Uh oh. Well then. Well then. Is there anybody there? Um,
For those of you watching on the live stream, yes, it's still the interview is still going. However, there was an interruption, so just hold tight. It'll come back here in a minute.
can you hear me?
There, yeah,
Okay.
that was weird. Yep, everything just locked up on me.
All right. Yeah, you just disappeared.
All right. Uh, well, it looks like we're still recording though. That's thank the universe for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to answering a question. What's your favorite role?
My favorite role. Um, what's my favorite role? Well, they all are. Um, but Megatron from Beast Wars probably stands out because that's the one that opened my eyes to the possibility of this could be a career.
Mhm.
And so I have him to thank for all of it. Well, some of it, not all of it. But yeah, I suppose if I had to name one, but it got close, an awful close second, and maybe I don't know. I love Clank, and who knew
Yeah.
knew that after almost come up on 20 years, they're still around.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the fact that we get to inhabit these characters at all is a gift. So the fact that we get to inhabit them for many years, whether we're still doing a show or not, or whether
Mhm.
we're recreating it at a convention somewhere, and people ask you to say, "Can you say yes?" Yes, and it's weird to have a
Yeah.
catchphrase. So yeah,
Now, I know this past year you've been in a Marvel movie, Marvel's Eternals.
what I was?
Yeah, you played the Celestial
Yeah, I did.
Airsham.
Yep.
Now I know probably can't answer this, but have they called you back
I
for
can't
more
answer
work?
that. I can't. Of course, I can't answer that. I have no. I have no idea. Look, I know what you know. They just signed Harry Styles to $100 million three-picture
Hmm.
deal, so I assume that Harry's going to do another one because he shows up at the end there with Patton
Yeah,
Oswalt.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's Hollywood.
Hmm.
It's who knows what kind. I'm just a voice guy, um, and I'm amazed I made the cut on the first one, and
Yeah.
there's a theme here. That's
Hmm.
they sure they want me. But that was incredible. That experience to me, going in a movie theater and hearing that voice, because I as a kid, as I was into comics,
Hmm.
and my friend who was had a part-time job at a local bookstore, and he was downstairs in this awesome basement full of comic books, like boxes and boxes, and he was in charge of putting it all in sort of some semblance of order. And I remember him. Hey, this is a Jack Kirby, the Eternals, and I remember going through about 12 issues of the Eternals when I was a kid, and to think that I was watching a movie and that's the character, and I had something to do with, But yeah, that was a mind blowing moment for me.
Uh, now you've played villains, you've played heroes. What would be what's the more interesting thing to do?
Oh, villains!
Of course.
Of course, it's they don't think they're villains. They have a hero complex. It's just saying, I'm right. This is the way things are done.
Exactly.
That's how villain. It's just, yeah, it gets blurry
Mhm.
there. You don't play the villain. You play the truth of it. And but yeah, it's certainly more fun. But
Mhm.
good guys can be. That's where people love Batman because he's a complicated hero, and I like to think they're all complicated heroes because we are complicated human beings, so no different.
Now you've done Star Wars characters, you've done Marvel characters, you've done DC characters. Now I noticed there's no Star Trek on there. Star Trek animated is getting a lot of life now. Would you do any Star Trek if you were offered?
Well, yeah, I've sure, but they're the ones that have to. I get sent scripts and auditions, and I read them, and is that Nickelodeon? Where's that?
Nickelodeon does one of them, and the rest is on Paramount Plus.
Oh, that could be the reason. I yeah, I sometimes ever wonder if they will ever hire me for anything. We all have our. I used to drive by there every day by the
Mhm.
Nickelodeon, heading to Cartoon Network. I used to drive by and they said, one day, and still one day seems like it'll never happen. Um, I love all the stuff they do, but I can't. I might have to buy my way in
Ah,
there.
let's start a letter writing campaign.
Yeah, sure. But no, I've read for the show, and I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I love the
Awesome.
new one. It's so cool, and
Mhm.
and the I don't want to talk any spoilers of people haven't seen, but I love all that stuff. I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
big fan of Star Wars, Star Trek, anything that's happens out there, I'm all over that. But yeah, of course.
Okay. And so, what's the weirdest thing you've ever been made to say?
I still won't say it. Jobby the Hong, Jobby the Hong on Twitter or on YouTube has a catchphrase, and I still won't say it. For those of you know who those of you who know. uh, the fun is working on what was the show Robot Chicken, and I reprised my role of Megatron, and I think I had to say "fucking Maximal," and I thought that was kind of cool. I had to get to swear. Sorry,
It's my protein shake. I had a workout and I had to get.
there you
I love Robot Chicken.
go. Oh, it's phenomenal!
Yep.
And this being in there and doing
I-
that was a lot of fun.
And I also saw you did a little for Harvey Birdman too.
Oh, guess way back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my God, I can't. I didn't even remember that was my first Cartoon Network gig. I think the first time I was in there.
All right. Now since we're going a little long here, I'm going to ask you a couple of random questions.
Yes.
From my random question deck. I love these cards. These are some fun questions.
Will I love them or will I hate them? Depends, I guess. What I get.
All right. Let's go with. What do you think one of the biggest cons of being famous would be?
Oh, meeting people who are genuine. I think that's a big con of people who are, meeting people who are, you know what I mean by genuine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're famous today, are they legit, or are they just, that's the biggest con, I think, is finding people, your friends who are genuine, I suppose.
Yeah. What's the first impression you want to give people?
That's a tough one. First impression I want to give people. I guess, I'm a nice guy. That's the first impression. My father. Not everybody's going to like you in your life, and I've been fortunate enough that only one old neighbor who didn't like me for some reason. Other than that, I just want to be easy to deal with.
All right.
Yeah.
And let's go out with what is one surefire way to grab your attention?
That's a really good question. Be honest and genuine. Again, I'll turn it around. Be genuine. A human being.
Mm-hmm.
Kind. That's not doesn't have tunnel vision. It sees.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, David, I thank you very much for the time and having to put up with the technical issues and all that. You've been wonderful.
Don't worry. No problem. Thank you so much. I know it can be a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
This
You've been-
interwoven thing.
But no, thank you for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Again, I think this will be a good interview. Thank you very much. And everyone, we'll see you back. I'll be right back in this chair in a different outfit.
All right.
All right, David. Let's end that. There we go. A little slip up there. Let's do a little geek news before we leave. Just a couple more stories. There's been a big shakeup inside House of the Dragon. The HBO fantasy drama's co-showrunner and director Michael Sapochnik is stepping down from the freshly launched series. Sources say Sapuchinik is exiting the show after an exhausting 3 years of effort into the Game of Thrones prequel. Dragon co-creator Ryan Condal will now serve as the show's sole showrunner and continue to work closely with co-creator George R.R. Martin. Sapuchinik has also entered into a first-look deal with HBO to develop new projects and remain an executive producer for the duration of the series. Nell Tiger Free has found her first leading role in a major studio film, according to Deadline. She is set to star in 20th Century's First Omen, a prequel to the classic horror franchise The Omen. Arkasha Stevenson will be making her feature directing debut on the pick and will handle the rewrite alongside writing partner Tim Smith. Smith is set to exec produce, with Phantom 4 producing. Eric Jones, a cartoonist whose wide variety of work included art for DC, IDW, and First Second, has passed away. Jones's passing was first announced by Landry Q. Walker, his friend and frequent collaborator, via social media. Now, Pop First was the first to report the news in detail, and according to the artist's family, they believed he passed away in his sleep due to complications from sleep apnea. Jones worked on the comics adaptation of the popular Cartoon Network series Batman, The Brave and the Bold, and did some Star Wars comics for IDW Publishing. Now, his debut was doing a pinup in an issue of Mr. Monster in the 80s, and would work on a number of indie comics in the 90s and 2000s, including Philly Habits from Aeon Comics, Tron and Lo Gloomy from Slave Labor Graphics, and Disney's Comic Zone. His most recognizable work came in 2008 when Jones collaborated with Walker on Supergirl Cosmic Adventures in the 8th grade. Eric Jones was 51 years old. And that brings us to the end of this mega-sized edition. Now, be sure to check us on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute financially to the show, check out the show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and so much more. Head on over to multiversetonight.com. If you're a subscriber, be sure to share us with friends. And if you're brand new to the show, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Please leave some feedback. Let me know how we're doing. And if you'd like to, if you do that, be sure, maybe I'll read some of that feedback on a later show. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music, Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a brand new sci-fi and comic book filled news edition. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. This podcast is part of the Pop Goes the Culture podcast network. Find out about our other podcasts at popgoestheculture.com. And that brings us to the end of our show today. Thank you, anyone who stopped in to watch. I thank you for watching. Very appreciative of anyone who gives the kind of attention. By the way, we're looking at the video. If you see a little mark on my nose, that's from a box at work. And also, let me take the camera here to show you. Put up some more of the autographs. From there, you got Dr. Forrester and TV's Frank. You got some of my Star Trek autographs right there. Some of my wrestlers. I still have a long way to go. I have literally dozens of autographs. A dozen or so autographs still to go. Basically all my Ferengi autographs, a lot of my Star Trek autographs. But I have a huge pile there on my bookcase that I just haven't put up yet because I just haven't found where I want to put them yet. So, but it's coming along, well, thank you very much. I'm going to get me some ice cream, and edit the show.